Rev up your engines!
Yank Cruz says, Beetle 2014, not at all or maybe. Not at all if you value your money. Those things were absolute disasters. They made them look like the old Beetles, but they put the Volkswagen four-cylinder front-wheel drive engine in them. Most Americans drive automatic transmissions, 94% or something. Volkswagen automatic transmissions, those had dual clutch transmissions when they break, and they break all the time. I had guy in Houston, he bought one for his daughter. The tranny went out, it cost him $8,000 to get that thing fixed. Now, on the other hand, let's say you wanted to buy a diesel Beetle with a manual transmission. Go right ahead. I've seen those go for $300,000-$400,000. They're still going strong. And those can go a long time, a real long time. Right? But the gasoline with automatics, no. I would never advise buying one of those things. They didn't hold up. Not unless it was a diesel. James Soft says, Scotty, have you worked on electric power steerings? Yeah, I have to, because almost every car has electric power steering on them now. Some of them aren't too bad. They hardly ever break. Like, I've never seen one break on a Toyota. So, kudos to them. Ford, no, they break all the time. And the real problem is the expense. If the motor assembly goes out, they're expensive enough as it is. Replacing the motor assembly. That's bad enough. A lot of them, you got to buy the whole motor rack assembly as a unit, which is a small fortune. Just a cheaper way to make cars. That's all it comes down to. It's a cheaper way to make cars. Sell them for more and make them cheaper. And that's just the name of the game. And they're more expensive to fix, so they like that at the dealer. They make a lot of money fixing them. Here's why you want to price around and look at stuff and learn things before you sign on the dotted line. Todd still went to a mechanic shop, and he says, a local mechanic shop just ripped me off. I can buy new Akabono front brake pads for $69.99. They marked it up to $169 for the pads. So my front brake job was $450, and they didn't even replace the front rotors. They just machined them down. And they lied to me about a road test. I recorded the odometer, and it only had half a mile on it when I picked it up. I hate this industry. I don't blame you, you know? But you got to go ahead and tell how much it's going to cost. And say, how much are the brake pads? $169. And you find out the Akabono pads, $69. Get them cheaper than $69, but that's kind of with the markup, $69.99, right? But they charge $169 for the brake pads. And $440 for the whole job, of which they probably spent $45 in parts. And then he said, oh yeah, we road tested it. You road test brakes, you're going to road test it 5 or 10 miles, right? He had half a mile they had driven the car. So you got to watch where you're going. Ask your friends where they go. Try to find an honest place and ask them about prices before you sign up. Don't sign this thing. We allow you to fix our car. And then sign it, because if you do, they can do whatever they want. What you want is you want prices before they do that stuff. Demirci says, Scotty, I got a Peugeot, I'm losing coolant, but there's no leak. What can be the issue? You want to make sure you don't have a leak, because sometimes they'll only leak when you're driving down the road, like the water pump's leaking, but it evaporates and you can't see it. So first thing, have a guy like me put a pressure tester on it, and then let it sit for 20 minutes. If the pressure doesn't go down, then it doesn't have a leak indeed. So if you're losing it, you don't have a leak. There's only two things you can do. One is just a bad radiator cap, and it's evaporating. So change the cap. They don't cost $10, $15. If that doesn't fix it, odds are you're burning it inside the engine. Then you won't see it dripping because it'll be burning. And in that case, watch my video, how to tell if your head gasket's blown. You get this little test tube, you pour in this blue fluid, you can buy it on Amazon for 30-something bucks. Run the car and stick that in the radiator after you took the radiator cap and sucked a little fluid out so the fluid doesn't get sucked in. Then you watch it, and if the blue fluid turns yellow, you got a blown head gasket and it's burning coolant. You got to take the engine apart. If you want to try a quick fix, Bar's head gasket sealer works pretty good, B-A-R-S. There's one that costs about 30-something bucks here at AutoZone and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Pour it in, follow the directions, and sometimes it'll last for quite some time. And a clerk says, Scotty, would you rather have a new Corolla hatchback or a Corolla hybrid, and why? I would go for the Corolla hatchback because I was traveling between Tennessee and Rhode Island. The hatchback has more room. I could put both of our folding bicycles and travel anywhere on the East Coast and ride bikes around. Right? They're electric bikes too, so you can pedal them and use electricity. And then when we travel back and forth, I leave the bikes here in Rhode Island because I got tons of them in Tennessee too. People keep sending them to me. I keep trying them out, tell you if they're good or bad, right? Of course, I ride the good ones, not the bad ones. But then when we travel back and forth, I could put our crap in it, and our kitty now is our traveling kitty, so I would want the extra space. Now, the Toyota Corolla Hybrid gets great gas mileage, better gas mileage than the Corolla hatchback. It still gets good mileage, the hatchback, but not like the hybrid. It's higher technology, too. And eventually, when that breaks, it's going to be a lot more expensive to fix than a hatchback. Hey, I'm the kind of guy that keeps my cars 20, 30 years, so I think about that. I'm always laughing about solar panels and, oh, yeah, you're going to generate your own electricity. And you find out how much money it costs, and you're not getting what you think you're going to get out of it. The companies go bankrupt. Listen to this. This is how hard up they are now. Now, they're trying 25-year leases for solar panels. Get this. Solar leasing is designed for true energy savings. PosiGen's 25-year lease is designed to allow homeowners to reap the energy with no upfront costs and no credit card requirements. Yeah, when they don't have any requirements, let me tell you, they're going to be reaming you through. Can you imagine doing a 25-year lease? Now, the 25-year lease on solar panels. Those solar panels, generally, you're lucky if you get 10, 15 years max out of them, right? What, you got to keep leasing them when they don't work anymore? Well, I signed a 25-year lease. This has got to be the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. But, of course, they'll do anything to sell stuff to people. I mean, last year I did one. A guy came to me. He bought a used car at Nissan, and they gave him a 7-year note on an 8-year-old Nissan. I'm sure that thing isn't going to be on the road 7 years from now, but the only way they can sell them at their inflated prices is by making the payments longer. And in that case, it was a 7-year payment. This is even worse. This is a 25-year-old lease. You don't even own them. It's a lease, right, for 25 years. Those things aren't going to be working 25 years from now. But I'm sure the solar company won't be around 25 years from now either. So be real leery what these solar clowns promise you, because they're like used car salesmen. They'll tell you anything, and once they have your money, it's like, that's not our problem. That's your problem now. 25-year lease for solar panels. I mean, they'll do anything to try to get their hands on your money. Get this. Shining too bright, California's solar success sparks a price plunge. In California, they have so many solar panels that the price of electricity is going down, and they're wasting a bunch of it because the solars, when they're creating electricity, when the sun's shining, right, they really don't have much storage for it. So if it isn't used, it's just wasted and it disappears. Get this. With an abundance of solar energy integrated in the grid, California has reduced demand. Electricity prices are plummeting into negative territory. I always love that. It's negative now. It's worth less money than nothing. How that comes. Talk about total absurdity. It basically just shows that the whole thing is messed up. The infrastructure's stupid. If they're going to put all these solar panels in, they're going to have storage units for them too. They can't just build them and hook them up, because if they do, then most of the stuff that's generated when people don't need it is just wasted. You can't store electricity in the air. It has to be in a battery. But those things don't exist largely enough, even in California. So a lot of the energy is just being flat wasted. And of course, you know how that goes. They'll take advantage of that because they told all these people in California, you put in your solar panels and you generate and you can make money because we'll pay you for that. Now they're saying, well, we got too much of it. The price is down, so they won't pay the people back hardly anything. They're going to do that. I forecasted that. I said, wait till they get them out. They're not going to be giving them heavy money for kilowatt hours. I've met people that they were paying 28 cents a kilowatt hour, but they're generating stuff that they generated. They were only getting 7 cents back because they said, because of the amortization of blah, 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 we'll charge you 25 cents a kilowatt hour, but the stuff you're generating, we'll only pay you 7. It's a rat's nest when it comes to electricity. There's no organization of it. There's no centralization. There are thousands of utility companies in the United States all vying against each other with different rules, right? How you're going to get that thing all to work as one unit is beyond me. Well, here's a funny one. Oracle, that big company, right? They moved from San Francisco to Austin, Texas. But now they decided after 4 years, hey, Austin, Texas is too expensive. They're moving to Tennessee. They're moving to Nashville. The problem is, if an area gets blown out, the prices start getting high. You don't get what you want. Over there's no state taxes. Yeah, there's no state tax in Texas. But there's all kinds of other taxes, too. Don't think there's corporate taxes. There's all kinds of stuff. And Austin is a real heavy taxing city. It's the most taxed city in Texas. They've got this green image, and then they charge money for just about everything there. Everything's super expensive. Property, land, the property taxes are super expensive too. You might think, oh, Texas doesn't have a state income tax. No, but the property taxes in many places more than make up for that by how much money they charge. So you think that, oh, Texas is all wide open. Well, Austin isn't. In 2020, Austin was planning to become a rival of Silicon Valley, but a few years later, tech companies started leaving Austin. High costs, no support for startups, the climate, political difference, and numerous other factors led companies to begin fleeing Austin by 2023. The majority of tech companies either withdrew from the city, like Meta, who relocated away, or left completely. Many moved to Houston, Tulsa, Nashville, Miami. And they say now Oracle's going to have their world headquarters in Nashville. If places are not friendly enough for businesses, they will go where they are friendly. It's not like the old days where there are a bunch of brick and mortar stuff that, yeah, your factory's there, it's going to be a pain moving it, we're going to tax you. Stuff is a lot intellectual. They can go anywhere and do it, right? They don't need to be based in any one place. And even though they thought, Texas, no state income tax. There's all kinds of taxes that they can get even with. And now they're leaving Austin. Kind of interesting. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.